Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Ballava Girivardhari Gopijana Ballava Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Ballava Girivardhari Gopijana Ballava Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Ballava Girivardhari Gopijana Ballava Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Rama Shri Madhusudan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Krishna Balaram Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, welcome. Today is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 17, or 16, which is up here. Vaktum, arhasi, aśeṣeṇa, divyā, ātma-vibhūtayaḥ, yābhir, vibhūtibhir, lokān, imāṁs, tvam, vyāpya, tiṣṭhasi, vaktum arhasya aśeṣeṇa, divyātma-vibhūtayaḥ, yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān, imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi, vaktum arhasya aśeṣeṇa, divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ, yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān, imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi. Vaktum arhasya aśeṣeṇa, divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ, yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān, imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi. vaktum arhasya aśeṣeṇa divyātma-vibhūtayaḥ yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi vaktum arhasya aśeṣeṇa divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi vaktum arhasi aśeṣeṇa divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi. Ladies, vaktum arhasi aśeṣeṇa divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi vaktum arhasi aśeṣeṇa divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi vaktum arhasi aśeṣeṇa divyā ātma-vibhūtayaḥ yābhir vibhūtibhir lokān imāṁs tvam vyāpya tiṣṭhasi. Very nice. Vaktum, to say. Arhasi, you deserve. Aśeṣeṇa, in detail. Divyāḥ, divine. He, certainly. Ātma, your own. Vibhūtayaḥ, opulences. Yābhir, by which. Vibhūtibhir, opulences. Lokān, all the planets. Imāṁs, these. Tvam, you. Vyāpya, pervading. Tiṣṭhasi, remain. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Can repeat this one. Huh? Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade these worlds. So Arjuna teaches us, proper questions. These are questions that are worthy. In this verse it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa. By Kṛṣṇa's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have through all these agencies. And he has understood Kṛṣṇa to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him there is no doubt, yet he's asking Kṛṣṇa to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general, and the impersonalists in particular, concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Kṛṣṇa how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shiguru Shiyuta Padakamalam Shigurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sajajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desa Tarane Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tuishe Namaha Panchatatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Sudato Pangor Mama Mandir Matergati Matsarvasya Padambojo Shishi Radha Madana Mohano Divyād Kalpadrumado Shiman Ratnagara Singhasanasto Shishi Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestali Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Tatastataha Karshan Venu Sunar Gopi Gopinatha Sri Āśeṣeṇa Hare Krishna. So Krishna's opulences are, of course, unlimited. We have the 6 basic opulences: strength, beauty, fame, wealth, knowledge, and renunciation. Here Arjuna is asking for more and more information, and it's stressed that he's asking on behalf of the common people to help them, and which includes us, to understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Most religions, if they believe in a God, they focus on the strength, power, and how they want to ask God to use that power for their own purposes. Devotees, we want to serve the Krishna. We want to give to Krishna. And we're more concerned with Krishna's internal energy, his loving nature, Srimati Radharani, or Lord Chaitanya. But Arjuna is asking, and Krishna has put him in this condition in the first place, so the Bhagavad Gita would be spoken and recorded for our benefit and for the benefit of millions of people for the future. Until recently, the Bhagavad Gita was only known in India, a little bit outside of India by some scholars, but nobody was really understanding Bhagavad Gita. Bhavamad Bhakto, Krishna become my devotee. We didn't see anyone becoming a devotee because the Bhagavad Gita was not presented as it is. Now that Srila Prabhupada has given the Yatha Rupa, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, it's producing so many devotees. And that's the order of the Bhagavad Gita: surrender to me. Sarvadharmam prijajya. Give up all your other, religious activities. Are not necessary to get different benedictions or different, opulences in the material world. Those things are all temporary and coming automatically anyway. And if we're not obliged, if one is surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, not obliged to do demigod worship or ancestor worship or any of those things. Because by worshiping Kṛṣṇa, everything is part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa. So we're automatically covering everybody. Otherwise, it's impossible. One cannot even know all the different demigods, what to speak of, make proper offerings to all of them. Because to offer the demigods, it's a very specific process has to be followed perfectly. To make any other yajna work has to be done perfectly, and in Kali Yuga nobody can do that. Nobody can pronounce the syllables perfectly, and nobody's really pure enough. But we have the Nam Yajna, Harinameva Kevalam, there's no other way. And by that holy name, that's the topmost yajna anyway, but it can be done any time, any place, by any person. So Lord Chaitanya came and he broke open the storehouse of love of Godhead. And it's explained that when Kṛṣṇa came, the storehouse of love of Godhead was there with him, but it was locked up. And Kṛṣṇa said, surrender to me, and not so many people could understand, what that meant. And it's not so easy. But when Lord Chaitanya, he's Kṛṣṇa himself, he came in a special mood to give Kṛṣṇa prema. So Lord Chaitanya and the Panchatattva, they broke open this storehouse of love of Godhead. And they distributed freely to anyone who would take it. And they begged everyone to take it. And because it's transcendental, because it's Kṛṣṇa, the more they distributed, the more it increased. Normally, if you distribute, what you have, then there's nothing left. But in this case, it kept getting more and more. The more they distributed, the more it was there. I always thought of, the Prabhupada's books. We have many warehouses full of Prabhupada's books. And devotees keep distributing the books. Those are fruits of love of Godhead. But they keep filling up again, bigger and better and more. The more we distribute, the more books come. Even in Prabhupada's time, the more we distributed the books, the more he would be enthused to translate the books. And everybody wanted Prabhupada to translate. He'd say, well, you have to distribute them. You have to get them printed and distribute them. Then he's more enthused, of course, to translate more. So we have so many books. Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. We heard this morning how Prabhupada, he said, not only to Shruti Kirti, to many others, this book is so wonderful. Prabhupada would read his own books, especially Kṛṣṇa book. I witnessed Prabhupada sitting in his garden with just his servant, and the servant reading the Kṛṣṇa book to him, and he just relishing it. He was alone. Or even later on, he'd be in the garden with many devotees, and same thing, he just had somebody read the Kṛṣṇa book, and he was relishing it. He said, anybody who reads this book will become a devotee. He said, even you read a little bit, even one word. He also said that about Nectar Devotion. He said that about Bhagavad Gita, any of his books. So devotees are, this is the opulences. There was one so-called incarnation that would talk about vibhūti, ashes. They'd have some ashes, and they called it vibhūti. Ashes are not very opulent. They're very easy to produce, right? They're everywhere. Any fire. Vibhūti means that Kṛṣṇa had all these opulences, that he's the best of everything. Chapter 10, it tells us, amongst the animals he's the lion, and amongst the fish he's the shark, and on and on and on. all these great opulences, and whatever is the greatest thing, that represents Kṛṣṇa. But he's much beyond all those things. And what we're seeking is not just some, blessing that God will give us wealth or comfort, a good family or whatever, or a good next life, birth in heavenly planets. We want to serve Kṛṣṇa. This is Lord Chaitanya's mission. Bhakti. Service. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That, please, my dear Lord, my dear energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. Let me serve you. Most people, I saw one in America, the Christian churches, they put out an advertisement of their next sermon or something, and so one of them, it said, everyone wants to serve God. And then it said, as an advisor, God, I think you should do like this. God, please do this, Here's my advice. You should help me. You should help my country. God bless America. Those signs popped up all over America after there was that so-called attack, and God bless America, and everybody was buying little flags and stickers. And what about the rest of the world? We want him to bless everybody. But what is blessing? They're thinking blessing means nobody will bomb us, so we can continue our unlimited sense gratification, uninterrupted. God, please make all facilities for us. No, devotees want to serve. So we have great examples, in Krishna's Leela. In Lord Chaitanya's Leela, everyone was a servant. He made it easy. He served the holy name, served the Sankirtan movement. Chant the holy name wherever you go and whoever you meet, and tell them about Kṛṣṇa. Ask them to chant the holy name. So Prabhupada is saying Arjuna already, he's accepted, okay, Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end of this chapter, of course, he stresses it even more. Then he wants to see the universal form. And that's also, to show what is Kṛṣṇa, that no one else can do that. So we want to also inquire from Kṛṣṇa, but we have the Bhagavad Gita's, Arjuna's questions and Kṛṣṇa's answers. Srimad Bhagavatam is just full of different questions and answers. It started out with the sages questioning, and then Purport questioning, and then the Bhagavatam and the rest. After all, Purport has so many questions, and then the rest of the Bhagavatam is answers for all the questions that Parikshit asked about everything. You want to know the structure of the universe. You want to know, how the soul is entrapped in the body and how it can get out, and how the sound vibration is spiritual, even though it's alphabets, and on and on and on. And then we have examples to show many more conversations. Maitreya and Vidura and Uddhava, and Kṛṣṇa speaking to Uddhava, and that's the whole thing. We want to know about Kṛṣṇa. We're all devotees, what is our great happiness when someone asks us something about Kṛṣṇa, and we get a chance to talk about Kṛṣṇa. So we're very fortunate to be here in Vrindavan, seeing something of Srila Prabhupada's potencies. The first time I came to Vrindavan in 1975, that was the opening of Krishna Balaram Temple. And Prabhupada was wondering if anybody would come to a temple that's so far away. If you went down the road here, the next thing was Fogal Ashram. There was nothing in between. In the morning when we walked from Fogal Ashram to the Mangal Artik, you could hear the pigs because people were squatting along the side of the road, and the pigs were very happy. But now it's all the hotels and restaurants and, houses and everywhere packed up. And there was a dirt road. This road, nobody ever came, no cars. Once in a while a buffalo cart or a bullock cart. It was all forest, peacocks everywhere. But Prabhupada had vision. He wanted people to come to Vrindavan. He made a temple, he made a comfortable guest house, and now so many people are coming. As devotees, we're obliged to, be here, meet people, behave properly, look like devotees, keep nice tilak, look like Vaishnavas, so the people that come from all over the world, can have a good experience, meeting real Vaishnavas, being, welcoming everybody and acknowledging that they're special, that somehow or other they've come to Vrindavan. And they're coming to Krishna Balaram now. It's one of the busiest temples in Vrindavan. Prabhupada devotees struggled. We were hearing about Kadamba Swami. He came a little later, but in the construction of the temple in the first place, such a struggle, a lot of opposition from the local Goswamis, from all kinds of cheating contractors and cheating everything. And somehow a bunch of inexperienced devotees, were empowered by Srila Prabhupada to get this beautiful temple built and to keep it going, the beautiful archana, beautiful deity worship, and unique Nitai Gaur, Radhe Shyam, Jai Shri Krishna Balaram. Prabhupada wanted everybody to know, even Krishna Balaram, not so many people really know about that so much. People know Radha and Krishna, they know Sita Ram. And outside of Bengal and Orissa, people are not so much aware of Lord Chaitanya, or if they do, they don't really understand he's Krishna himself. But Prabhupada wanted the world to know that. So we have everybody there. Krishna and Balaram, and then Gaur Nitai, same. Krishna became Gauranga, and Balaram became Nitai. And what did they do? They spread the holy name. They started, Lord Chaitanya, he came for different reasons, internal so-called and external so-called. He wanted to experience the love of Radharani for him. He took the mood of Radharani, and simultaneously he wanted to start the Sankirtan movement and the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy name, the Sankirtan movement, the massive chanting of the holy name, millions of people chanting the holy name all over the world. And it's happening all over the planet of Earth and other planets. Chaitanya Charitamrita says it'll spread throughout the heavenly planets even. Prabhupada said people will ask, how can that happen? We know we can't travel to those planets, but we don't know if they have Wi-Fi, internet, but they don't need it. The demigods can see us, and we can't see them, but they can see us, they can see what we're up to, and they can see the Sankirtan movement, so they're even coming to join it. But Prabhupada said, just like at that time he wrote in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in 10 years this movement is spread all over the world, and nobody can explain how it happened. No historians are going to be bewildered, no battle, no fight, no shooting, but somehow or other, and the same way it'll spread all over the universe. Because demigods come and join, they go back, devotees leave their body, and Krishna sends them to different planets to preach, even hellish planets. When they asked Srila Prabhupada, did devotees go to hell? He said, he was in London, he said, isn't London hell? that was very popular. It made the front page of the newspaper the next day. Swami says London is hell. And nobody would argue with that. But it's nothing compared to what is really hell. We have descriptions. Prabhupada liked those descriptions. There's one picture where he got that book and he was relishing the pictures, showing people. A lot of people don't believe in it, but it's true. But the spiritual world is true. And we can go there. All we have to do, we heard Kadamba Kanamaraja's last talk, chant your 16 rounds, follow the regular principles, and be submissive to the spiritual master. Keep it simple. And at the time of death, Kṛṣṇa will take you. So we're very fortunate to be here in the Holy Land, in the presence of Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, Srila Prabhupada's presence, and all these devotees, all these sincere followers of Srila Prabhupada. So please, we all should take advantage. In Vrindavan, also we can visit the holy places of the Goswamis, temples, and the places of Krishna's pastimes, Govardhan Hill. Everything is here. All the holy places of the universe are here. But even right here, you don't have to go anywhere. Just chant the holy name. So we have 10, 15 minutes for comments, questions. Anyone? Do we have a mic?
Thank you for a nice class, Maharaj. Can you tell us about your personal interactions with Srila Prabhupada?
Tell us about what?
Your personal interactions.
My
personal interactions with Prabhupada.
My association with Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Well, mostly by the books, and the recorded lectures. I listen to them a lot, and I read the books. The first, I met devotees, and they were, at that time, they were always talking about Prabhupada. So we got very attached. I want to know about him. And then we had the books, and just by reading a little bit, that association with Prabhupada, just cleared up everything. I knew I was looking for something spiritual, but everything that was so-called spiritual at that time in America was not purely spiritual, Had some idea, but that cleared up everything. Then I very quickly stayed at the temple, and we went to San Francisco for Rath Yatra, 1971, and then Prabhupada was speaking, and I guess that was the first time I actually heard him speak. We didn't have recorded lectures, and at least I hadn't experienced it. Maybe one or two kirtans, and I remember I was so amazed. I never heard anything so clear and, perfect. And one hippie standing next to me said, I can't follow his accent. And I said, what accent? I never noticed Prabhupada had an accent. It just was, I never heard anybody speak so clearly. Now you listen closely, you can see, the few words he pronounces different than American English. But even you meet someone from London, same thing, It's not very difficult. But so as far as personally associating, I very, very little. I was able, fortunately, to attend a lot of lectures, when Prabhupada stayed in Los Angeles in the winter, and sometimes go on the morning walks. I didn't get very close. One particular time, Prabhupada was talking about something. There was one crazy guy claiming to be Kṛṣṇa. And Prabhupada was talking, devotees were talking about him, and I said something about how his followers were, and Prabhupada turned around and he was shouting, and I thought I must have said the wrong thing, so I backed off. But later, after listening to many morning walks, I caught on that he was actually wanted to get a conversation started, to expose these people, like they say like this, and they should do this, they should do that. But that was about it. Of course, when I got the Gayatri Mantra, I was with him for a few minutes. But otherwise, it's service, like anybody else. Most of Prabhupada's disciples, is through service, through reading his books, and he very kindly provided, he recorded everything, so he's left it for everybody. So there's many devotees now who get more association, more intimate, because now we have so many books. At that time, we didn't know where Prabhupada was ever. Or anything. There was no connection like that. Shama Sundar used to send once a month a newsletter about where they'd been. But it wasn't like, anybody knew where Prabhupada was and could just turn on the internet and tune in and find out what his pulse was and, if he had a toothache or whatever. Nowadays, everything is accessible. And all the Prabhupada's lectures, everything is right here. Very easy. So please take advantage of it. Prabhupada, he made a great endeavor that the books would be printed and preserved, and that the lectures were all recorded. He was very concerned about that from the very beginning. Even 1966, somehow he get a tape recorder donated, and he would record everything. And it wasn't so easy in those days. It was clunky, big machines, and broke down a lot. But fortunately, one devotee, Umapati Prabhu, he was trained in that field, so he could manage the machine in New York. Even on the morning walk, devotee would carry this 10-kilo tape recorder. And Prabhupada was very happy with that. So that's, all of us have that opportunity to associate very intimately. Prabhupada said many times the books are better than I am, because he put his intimate time, and he was giving everything to the books, because that's what can be everywhere at the same time. It can last for, thousands of years. So that's, if you really want to associate with Prabhupada, you read the Bhaktivedanta purports and try to speak them, in whatever realization you have, because that's how we connect. When we try to serve by giving Prabhupada to others, when you're giving someone a book, you're giving them Prabhupada. You're introducing them to Srila Prabhupada. They can have his association also. Then we get more. So nice. Thank you. Anyone else? Somebody, there's another boy, but when we had the class in the little room, it was nice, a small room, This is a little...
Maharaj, thank you. You were saying that when you first joined, the devotees were talking so much about Prabhupada. So now do you think when we're preaching, I find we don't so much mention Prabhupada when we're just preaching to people. We talk about other things, yoga, some philosophy, how to be happy. But do you think there's an importance to actually just talk about the pure devotee?
Well, when you're just first trying to attract people, we have to use all kinds of means. But that was when, when I actually was in the temple, it was just Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. It'd be taking prasadam, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. You know, a few of the devotees at the time that when I joined the temple, they had been in Los Angeles and spent a lot of time when Prabhupada was there, so they were trained up. But, you know, everything was Prabhupada said like this, cook like this, do like this, chant like this, do like that. Everything Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. And we need to remember that because Prabhupada did teach us everything. But, you know, when we were first attracting people, but I remember Jayapataka Maharaj said, you know, like at a big Rath Yatra festival or, you know, a big crowd, people are the most attentive when you talk about Prabhupada. It's fascinating personality, you know, and such a great personality. So, you know, if someone is attentive, you know, yeah, we say this, what he did, you know, how he went to America 70 years old by himself, like Shruti-Kirti Prabhu was saying, is, you know, now a lot of devotees are coming to Vrindavan 40 years old, thinking I have to settle down and just chant, you know. And Prabhupada was 70 years old and he left. And nobody, they were saying, why do you want to leave Vrindavan? You know, he said, that's his spiritual master's order. Fortunately for all of us, you know. But no matter where he was, Prabhupada would say, that I'm not in New York, I'm in Vrindavan. I'm not in Los Angeles, I'm in Vrindavan. He said that many times. But so that, you know, the Prabhupada Lilamrita is essential reading for everybody, for any devotee, anyone who comes, you know, and then we get more and more books now, a different association with Prabhupada, learn more and more about him. So it's, you know, everybody's fascinated by it. But, you know, we present, and when we're just out in the crowd, and, you know, we have to catch people, what they're interested in. But then, if they're curious, we can show them. I've had experience on book distribution where somebody doesn't seem to be too interested, and they look at the back of the book and see Prabhupada. Oh, I know this man. I've heard, you know, somehow or other they've seen it many times. You know, somehow they've met devotees and didn't get a book, but and then they wake up. So, you know, they're such an amazing person. What he did is just too inconceivable. Look at this place, you know, and then if you read what he had to go through to build it, what to speak of the Bombay temple, you know, the book, 800 pages, you know, it was a struggle all the way from almost since he first went to India until he left his body, he was dealing with headaches about getting that temple built. But now 10,000 people come every day. And that was another one. Everybody thought, who'd put a temple here? Nobody will come here. But Prabhupada, you know, he was guided by Kṛṣṇa. So, Hare Krishna. Okay, it's 4 minutes till 7. Yeah.
Maharaj, thank you very much for the lecture. And the question is how to develop taste to read Prabhupada's books. How to get develop taste to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
How to get a taste to read them?
Yes.
Well, read them with devotees who have a taste. And read them, you know. Just by reading them, the taste will come because they're very wonderful, and you know they have a power. They have nectar. So how to you know chant the holy name, but association with devotees. Associate with devotees who have a taste. Hear from them, and just read out loud is also very helpful. There's so many books, so just find, you know, it doesn't matter what book. Prabhupada said whatever they like. He said it's like a bowl of sugar candy. You can take from the bottom, the side, the top, it's all sweet. So you can read any book. Sometimes people say, well, this is volume 3, where's volume 1? No, it's 2, 3 can be 1, 1 can be 4, it doesn't matter. It's transcendental. So just read them. A real taste, of course, is a serious thing, ruchi. That means you can't stop, like you can't stop chanting, you know. But at least we can want to read, we can enjoy reading, and we can be inspired to read. And preach, you know. Whatever you read, try to share it with somebody. Even if you're just another devotee, just say, well, I was just reading such and such, and, you know, it was really interesting. And that's the best way to associate with devotees anyway. And then they'll tell you something they've been reading, and this way we can enliven the whole planet. Books are going out there. We want to pray that people are reading them, right? All these sets of books and sets of Bhagavatam, sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita, millions of Bhagavad Gitas. But we have a long way to go, you know. Vaisesika Prabhu says, you know, don't compare, you know, to some small temple somewhere that you did more books in your temple, but think about these Christians, just one group, the Gideon Bible, you know, they had such huge numbers of books, and they do every year Bibles, which you think everybody has already, you know. People keep buying them. So we want people to go another step, you know, to really understand. Even to understand the Bible, they read Bhagavad Gita, it's going to help them. All right? So you read the books, right? If you read the whole Bhagavad Gita? You read the whole Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Wow. Then you have a taste. Right? Otherwise, why would you do it? Okay, thank you very much. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Krishna Balaram Hall ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari.